Your Worship, learned colleagues, esteemed members of the BookTube jury, I am here today representing Debs from Rainer Read Stuff, currently residing at the Bookshack, Nottingham, who stands accused of heinous crimes in the case BookTube versus Debs. I will be speaking in her defence, and during the course of this court case, you will be shown that she can bear no responsibility for these crimes because she herself was a victim of coercion. The crimes involve deliberate deception of the BookTube community, namely that she did, during the course of April 2025, deliberately mislead the community into thinking that she was going to read books from her own physical TBR and not purchase further volumes. Additionally, she is accused of multiple offences on or around April the 30th, 2025, of random purchasing of books both in physical and ebook form, in contradiction of her previous statement. I will be presenting to you facts and evidence in the form of physical books and ebooks, and making out a case for her to be acquitted on the grounds of coercion by others. I begin with Exhibit A, The Travelling Bag by Susan Hill, and Exhibit B, John Polidori's The Vampyre and Other Tales of the Macabre. I will put it to you, and in your notes below you will see evidence of this fact, that Olly at Olly, MJ at Reading This Life, and all of the other co-hosts of Horror Mayhem, an event taking place in May 2025 on BookTube, are in fact responsible for this purchase. Without the provocation of these booktubers, these books would not have been purchased. Exhibit C, Suetonius. This is the 12 Caesars. And the responsibility for this lies not with Debs, but with Vin at Revenant Reads and John David, both of whom are co-hosts of Historathon, and who repeatedly, both on YouTube and on Discord, extol the virtues of reading and purchasing historical books. We move now to this classic, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold by John le Carre. Just days ago, literally days ago, Aaron Facer was extolling the virtues of John le Carre, forcing Debs into a situation where, when she saw this book, she had no choice but to purchase it. And the list goes on. Again, within the last few days, and this is a culmination of coercion by people over the last couple of weeks. But yesterday or the day before, Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads was encouraging people, quite strenuously in fact, to read John Irving. Hence the acquisition of The World According to Garp. Now, let's move to some electronic evidence. And we are sticking with Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads, but he had an accomplice in this, Gavin at Genre Books, Philip Jose Farmer, To Your Scattered Bodies Go. Now, you can't be expected to watch videos by other very respected booktubers and not follow their suggestions. This is a situation where Debs is not in control because of the influences of other booktubers. Now, we have multiple accusations here. This book, Common Ground by Rob Cohen, is entirely the fault of Alan at Alan's Reads. However, the situation was compounded by Roz at Scallydangling About the Books, who, during her People April event, was encouraging everybody to read this, Raising Hare by Chloe Dalton. Now, this had the effect of introducing Debs to nature writing. And so when Alan blatantly encouraged people in a series of not one but 4 videos to read more nature books, and this was at the top of his chart, what is Debs to do? In addition, by association, Into the Wild by John Krakauer, which also involves writing about nature, is an unfortunate byproduct of the encouragement by Roz and Alan to read nature books. And finally, I give you this, Leonard and Hungry Paul. Now, not only had Debs not heard of this book, she hadn't heard of the author, Ronan Hession, until Pat from Book Chat with Pat and Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics blatantly waxed lyrical about how wonderful this book is. I ask you, how much pressure, how much coercion can somebody be put under before cracking? And so I submit to you that on the first charge of deception, Debs had no prior thought of attempting to deceive the booktube community in saying that she was going to read her own books. And on the charge of randomly, blatantly purchasing multiple books, both in physical and electronic form, the fault is not hers, but is in fact the fault of other members of the booktube community who put, whilst not exactly undue pressure, there was deliberate coercion there. I submit to you that you should find Debs not guilty. Please read your footnotes, where you will see further evidence of the coercion, and in the comments below, make your verdict. Thank you very much.